And this is not just black men. There will always be some black guy who's trying to feed his family, who's willing to pick up a gun and fight to feed his family. And so it's the same story with child soldiers, you know, it's a bad thing. We hate to see children with guns, but you know, the safest place for a child in the Congo, in a war zone, is with the soldiers. It's the safest place. So I'm not going to go around saying children shouldn't be picking up guns in the Congo. What I'm going to say is the U.S. military has to get out of Africa. The Pentagon is selling the Africa Command. This is not to help the African countries. It's not to protect the African people. It's to protect the American interests and the Israeli interests and the Belgian interests. I mean, Jesus, excuse me. Jesus, where are you? Because for the last 100 years on a plantation called Busira Lumame, up in Isangi, near Kisangani, we've got plantations that have been exploiting the people of the Congo. And it's happening at this very minute, in the middle of the Congo. This is not the East, which we see in the news. This is the plantations in Isangi. Busira Lumame is the name of one of them. This is controlled by a family from New Jersey, United States. Mr. Blattner. The Blattner family is involved from Kinshasa. Elwin Blattner is involved in transportation, river transport. So he controls the barges that are taking the logs and the mining equipment and the plantation commodities up and down the river. He's involved in construction. He's involved in air aviation. He's got airplanes flying around the Congo. And he's involved in weapons. During the war, he was supporting both sides when his plantation was in the middle of the war zone. So he was supporting the RCD, the Rassemblement Congolais Démocratique. Is that correct? He was supporting the RCD, the Congolese Rally for Democracy. He was supporting the Forces for the Democratic... FARDC, the RDC government forces before it became FARDC back in 1998, 1999. He was supporting both sides in that war, early war. And now his plantation is controlled by the Congolese government, so he doesn't need to support the other side. And the reason he supports both sides is to make sure that they don't plunder his plantation. He doesn't want the soldiers to come and rip him off, so he pays them. And at this very moment, he pays the governor, in Isangi or in Kisangani to make sure that the troops are brought in or the police are brought in if the people on the plantation protest the slavery. And the conditions on these plantations are absolute slavery. And they were the same plantations, as I said, as under King Leopold. This is very current information, but the raw materials from these plantations are palm oil, palm oil, and cocoa for chocolate bars in Belgium, and coffee, and sometimes rubber. And for example, the chocolate from this plantation, Busira Lumame, goes to Belgium, and they make these expensive chocolate bars. And I went to Busira Lumame and I took some chocolate bars with me. The people have never tasted chocolate in their life. Never. They've heard of it, but they've never tasted chocolate in their life. Can you imagine your children never tasting chocolate? This is injustice. Never. And you don't see it in the New York Times. And you will never see it in the New York Times. And if you think that you understand the way the news works, and you can, for example, you can pick up the New York Times and say, well, this looks like the truth. It's true that you're sitting in this room. And if we showed a picture of this room and we didn't show the rest of Los Angeles, people in the Congo might think Los Angeles is an amazingly beautiful place everywhere. But we know the truth is not everywhere in Los Angeles is beautiful. And that's how the media works. It gives you a piece of the story, but it takes it out of the context. And it doesn't tell you the exploiters at the top, even if they have to have somebody arrested, like Mr. Nkunda, who anyways is back at that swimming pool. So the Blattner family, they're very close to the systems of control, and they make sure that Mr. Kabila does what they want. And they're very close to Israel. And when Mobutu was in power, of course, Israel and the CIA, they had very elite mercenary forces keeping Mobutu alive. And you could find these people. We could find them and bring them to a court of law for the injustice that they committed. And this is what has to happen.
Stop the killing. Stop the killing.
I will say that we will learn to live together. We are people who have to talk and live in reconciliation with different people as we live there in the eastern part of Congo. I want to send a message directly to the multinationals who are really killing Congolese people in the true sense of the word. They are the ones behind all this. I will tell them that Congolese people are capable of making bilateral relations with them and sell them all those minerals, all those natural resources that they have been claiming, they have been asking for.
And then, of course, that message was great. I want you to do something for me. I want you actually, because I know you speak Swahili.
Yes.
I want you to say that message strongly in Swahili so people from the eastern part of Congo understand and know that we are supporting them and that we are with them.
Yes. Ujambo huko kwa jimbo za mashariki ya Congo, Kivu, North Kivu, South Kivu, Sud Kivu, Maniema, Shaba, Oriental, ama Katanga, Oriental. Tunataka kuwaelezea kwamba sisi ni pamoja nenyu na nyinyi. Tuko pamoja kwa maneno hayo yote. Tunawaombea, tunajua magumu mnapitia. Ni magumu mengi sana, lakini kila kitu ina mwanzo na mwisho. Sasa tunaamini ni mwisho wa haya mambo yote yanatendeka. Tunaamini ni mwisho. Hivi tuungane pamoja, tuchunge mwingine yetu mzuri, tuendelee kutumika juu ya mwingine yetu vizuri. Mungu awabariki, tuko pamoja nanyi.
Asante sana, asante sana.
Our country was founded on one word, freedom. And it seems wrong to me, with everything going on in the world, that we are not doing something to help another country that is screaming for that word. We really need to do something. We really need to do something to stop the genocide, the hate, and the rape.
We here in the United States because we love this country. This country has been great to us. This country, we have free speech here in the United States, and that's what we're expressing as well. I can tell you, a few years ago when I was myself in Congo, doing demonstration, you get killed, you get tear gases. But let's listen to us today. We are sending a message out there. If you are listening, please, keep peace in Congo.
Bien, comme vous le voyez bien là, nous sommes des Congolais de la Californie. On est là debout pour dire juste assez, c'est assez. Nos frères et sœurs sont en train d'être violés et tués au Congo. Et on s'est dit qu'on ne va pas nous laisser faire ainsi. Et on s'est décidé de marcher aujourd'hui. Marcher aujourd'hui pour demander la paix. La paix au Congo, surtout au Kivu. Là, vous voyez, là, c'est une personne qui a été tuée vraiment comme un animal, là, avec ses bras entrecoupés. Et il y a une autre ici où le monsieur a été presque décorcelé, là. On a enlevé la peau de la tête avec le cheveu. Et ici, là, on a un enfant de 4 ans qui prend sur son dos un petit bébé, là, de 2 ans. Ils ont perdu leurs parents, les 2 parents, à cause de la guerre. Et ici, là, on a une dame qui est restée veuve avec un enfant de moins de 2 ans. Juste conséquence de la guerre. Et c'est ça, on est là vraiment aujourd'hui pour dire trop c'est trop, trop c'est trop. On doit pas se laisser faire, on doit se tenir debout et dire un mot. Trop c'est trop, nous sommes là pour ça aujourd'hui.
La marche d'aujourd'hui a été vraiment une bonne réussite. Vraiment, les Congolais ont montré en fait que nous aimons notre pays. Ça c'était bien, l'organisation était vraiment parfaite. Du côté de tout le monde, à partir du pasteur et tout le monde, en tout cas, la mobilisation a été totale.
Et au caméra, nous avons
Merci
Mo.
beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Nous avons Mo Kassereka au caméra. Merci beaucoup Mo, que Dieu vous bénisse. Merci beaucoup à tout le monde. Ça c'est Maman Colette.